The key word is surrogation. We learned a lot of that in our, when we used to have people from business school come and lecture, people who covered marketing, right? Surrogate was a great word, and there was no substitute. You had to create your own, the persona of the consumer. You did it, you created it yourself. So basically what you're saying is today the consumers have more power because they're speaking on various channels and there's enough data to make sense of this journey, right? Today I buy a razor, I go, provided, go on.
Provided you have two things. And let me give you an interesting anecdote here. When we started building this product, there was no category called a customer data platform, Vishal.
Yes.
So we struggled to call ourselves what kind of a product are we building, because we were not an automation product, we are not a CRM product, and therefore, for us, the internal project for name for this was God, and and it is not the God, it was GAWD, God, which is good analyzer of white data. Me and my head of product, Vishal, we both come with this whole electronics background, and therefore we said, look, all what we are fundamentally building is the capacity in an organization to understand the consumer, because first principle of marketing is, if I understand you, there is a higher likelihood that I will talk sense to you. And if I talk sense to you, there is a higher probability that you're likely to respond to my communication. Correct? So all Absolutely. Of that, the root really came down to, can I understand you? And for me to understand you, I need to have the right antenna to capture all the intelligence that is being made available by you as a consumer when you interact with me as a brand on a channel. There is actually an explosion of information. If I have the right antenna, I'll catch it. Otherwise, it's all noise, right? In true, communication language, it's all noise. So the right antenna is what we are building, and then the right brain to process all of that disparate information.
Okay, let's stick with the noise today. Let's stick with the company itself, an FMCG company, and disseminating so much information out there, but it's still noise to the consumer, right? It's still noise to the company, right? Can you explain what that noise is?
No, see, it becomes noise when for you it is non-intelligible, right? If you're not able to make sense out of it, it's noise, it's white noise, right? And the reality for most enterprises is that today, while they have a lot of best of breed tools for a specific channel or for a specific purpose, what you don't have is the single brain processing all of it. So what you end up having to deal with is bits and pieces of this, and each tool may have its limitation basis of its purpose for the channel, right? If let's say, so for example, if you get into marketing, if I'm a cookie-based retargeting engine, which is only focused on retargeting, and say like a DMP, then I am only focused on third-party data. I don't need to worry about all the other first-party information that you may be giving to the brand. So I will not even capture that. Now to the brand, that's a serious loss of intelligence. Because but the tool is doing what it's supposed to do, which is maybe retargeting you somewhere else as a DMP. But for the brand, it doesn't build the data that you need.
That's so interesting, because I want to stick with that. 2011, these things were big. What you just said, the early investments went into these kind of companies. You're absolutely right. Maybe you look for a hotel room in Disneyland in LA, but if you then you go to a automotive website, maybe there's some targeting that happens there. You're saying that's still not, fulfilling the journey for a brand to understand who is this consumer, right?
It does not tell you who I am, but it retargets me basis a sliver of my information, right?
Okay.
Which is my web behavior, let's say. And a lot of it continues to be the same. But when you look at it from a regulation now, the announcements that have been made recently around deprecation of third-party retargeting, or with regulations like GDPR and others, which are basically saying that, look, you take control of your first-party data. So this now becomes the core central focus of a marketer. And the most interesting thing is, Vishal, this is the only differentiating data set that a brand has. Because all third-party data is available to competition as well. This is the only data that is yours and exclusively yours. And it's backed by opt-in permissions. So this is the differentiating intelligence and insight. And how do you leverage that then as a brand? So that is where a FirstHive comes in to connect those.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Now it makes sense to me when all the D2C brands keep telling me that they don't want to they don't get any information from the aggregator platforms. They don't get anything from other platforms like Insta or Facebook, where it's really noise for them. So if there's traffic coming in through their platform, right, it's a gold mine, right? And that is
Yeah.
what they have to focus on, and that's what you help them do.